Hey guys, Chester Westerford here with my review of Doctor Who FLUX, Chapter 4, Village of the Angels. Wow, what an episode. I had a feeling this was going to be a good one since it was co-written by Maxine Alderton, who wrote my favorite episode last season, but I think it exceeded my expectations. Not just in how good it was, but in what it ended up being about. I think going into this, I was expecting it to be another less overarching plot-related episode, similar to War of the Sontarans. Like, maybe the Angels were going to use the Flux to achieve their own ends, sort of like how the Sontarans were. Turns out it wasn't really like that much at all, but more on that later. Just as I was hoping for, this was a very creepy episode. This is the best the Angels have been since the Series 5 two-parter. I don't remember being this on the edge of my seat for a long time watching this show. Definitely never in the Chibnall era. This was tense, and the tension rarely stopped. That's another thing about this episode. I think I've mentioned before that fairly often the pacing in this era has been kind of a problem for me. I find much of it too slow, with too many moments where everything just kind of stops and everyone just exposits plot elements at each other. And this episode wasn't completely devoid of that, but it was paced so much better and intertwined with the action, so it felt more natural. There was really no, I thought, unnecessary exposition. There was exposition, but it was necessary. And didn't feel like it really took away from the action. And now on to that action. Yeah, there wasn't really any new elements to the Angels' powers, but there were new twists on elements that we hadn't seen before. I really liked the stuff with Jericho having to watch the TV and the Angel trying to use his voice against him and bursting out of the TV towards the end and then he smashes it. That was really cool. Yeah, and a new Angel being written on that psychic machine thing. That was one of the moments where I audibly gasped in shock. The torn piece of paper coming back together I thought was a bit of a stretch, but man, that effect when the Doctor crumbles it up, throws it in the fire, and then lights it on fire and the Angel becomes fire, that was an awesome image. Yeah, this episode overall looked terrific. The only thing I thought looked a bit dodgy was that part where Azure was standing on the mountain with Passenger. But other than that, everything in the village looked great. Including the whole town, edge of town going into space thing. What a neat concept. Something else that's working this series is how they're finding effective ways of splitting up the teams so everyone pretty much has something to do. Like with Dan and Yaz being sent back in time to 1901, meeting up with Peggy and all that. And that was cool, where they had like that barrier, being able to see both times. I thought that was another neat effect. And I thought the young actress who played Peggy did a pretty good job, but man, what a cold reaction to her guardian's demise. Also, I like the addition that these people couldn't survive the Angels twice. Kind of adds an extra layer of danger, which I always felt the Angels needed. It does kind of make me question, though, is there a plot hole between that and Angels Take Manhattan, as Rory gets touched multiple times in that episode and survives? Of course, there are numerous ways you can resolve that, like maybe because he was a time traveler, or maybe it's only the case in this localized incident because they're quantum extracted and there's nowhere for them to go. Maybe that's it. That's a really good explanation. I like that explanation. And of course we had more of the Bell and Vinder storyline. I was a bit worried at first that going back and forth between the two might be a bit jarring, but I thought it fit perfectly and was good to have that story continue since we are technically in the midst of a six-parter. And speaking of being in a six-parter, how about that cliffhanger, eh? Oh, that has to be one of the best cliffhangers in the show history. It's just so shocking and so well shot. The effects, the music, the sound effects. Jodie's acting during that scene. Oh my goodness. And it was so well foreshadowed earlier, like with Claire slowly turning into an angel. That part where she looks up from the mirror and saw the wings. That was well done. This is a really well-directed episode. Who directed this? I gotta look. Okay, so Jamie Magnus Stone directed this episode. And boy, did he do a great job. Yeah, I hope this isn't the last we see of Claire. I really like the character, and I want to find out if the Angels actually let her go or not. I'd like to see more of Jericho. He was a great character, too. It was kind of refreshing seeing an older white man in Doctor Who who wasn't an arrogant jerk. Usually seems to be the trope they go with, which, that's fine. I'm not saying that there aren't older white men who are arrogant jerks, but, there are nice ones, too, and it's nice to see other people represented. The division mystery just keeps getting more intriguing, too. I mean, they use all species, so is this a Time Lord? Like, when it was first introduced, it really seemed like it was a Time Lord thing. So, Is it like a Time Lord thing where they use other creatures, or is it another thing where they use Time Lords? I don't know. I can't really see any Time Lords bowing down to another organization, so intriguing. I can't wait to find out more about it. I still don't like the Timeless Child, but the Division mystery sure is drawing me in. Can't wait for next week's episode. The teaser looks really intriguing with more returning characters. Ood, Kate Stewart is back. Looking forward to that. And I thought it was cool, kind of how in the trailer they, sometimes they have like a cliffhanger and then it shows the next time trailer they're all running around and having another adventure, so we know they're okay. I mean, we know they're going to be okay anyway, but it is sometimes a little jarring to see them in the next time trailer. I like how the trailer only had like one shot of Jodie as the angel. It didn't like show her running around, so you're still in suspense. Speaking of jarring, that kind of mid-credits scene, I thought, why couldn't that have been like a penultimate scene? I felt like it kind of not took away from the cliffhanger, but I don't know, just kind of jarring to have it in there. I would have liked it to have been a little earlier, but it was like they thought, ooh, we got to go back to this important storyline, but the storyline just doesn't feel as important, and I don't know, I think it would have worked better if it had been earlier in the episode. But yeah, what do you guys think of the episode? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.